Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, one of the few games I could seamlessly run on my Intel integrated graphics before I picked up my current PC. I was a huge fan of this game when I first played it a couple of years ago, and I've since given it many subsequent playthroughs. You know what I've yet to do though? Play through the HD Renovation, the complete ground-up retooling that was released a couple of years after the original, primarily to prepare the game for release on consoles. I've planned to cover this game at some point during the Spooktober marathon for forever, and initially that was exactly what I was going to do. Until I started writing this script. See, the thing is, this game is way bigger than I ever thought it was or imagined it to be. And it's not just that the game is long or that there's a lot of things to do, I can handle that. It's that all of the content for this game is split across 4 separate campaigns, all of which have separate stories to cover, mechanics to explain, achievements to rant about, characters to characterize. Basically, explaining 4 10-hour games is a lot more complicated and confusing than explaining one 40-hour one. It's for this reason that I'm actually going to be doing something that I've never done on my channel before. I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. Part 1 will cover the original Mansion campaign and the Endless Mode expansion, and Part 2, which will be released next week, will cover the Karamari Hospital and Spooky's Dollhouse DLC. I've never tried anything like this, but I think it'll work better than trying to cram everything into one jumbled mess of a video. We have a lot to cover, so I think we better just dive in to Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. In Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, you play as an urban explorer and amateur historian, intent on discovering the secrets of the supposedly haunted house on the hill that you've heard legends about your whole life. Immediately upon entering the mansion, you're greeted by Spooky, a friendly ghost girl who challenges you to make it through 1,000 rooms. And with that, you're sent on your way, all alone with no further instructions. Your abilities are very simple. You can walk, interact with things, and sprint via a small stamina bar that recharges over time, a la Breath of the Wild. This game leans hard into the walking simulator genre. I would struggle to find a game that more exemplifies that label, since that's exactly what you do in this game. Walk. As you travel through the mansion on your quest to room 1000, you make your way past hundreds of short, seemingly randomly generated rooms, complete with cardboard cutouts that pop up from the walls to give you an occasional scare. Every 100 rooms or so, you'll be presented with an opportunity to save, as well as an elevator that takes you deeper and deeper into the labyrinth that is the house. As I'm sure you can expect, there's more to this mansion than meets the eye. The first uncouth thing you'll notice during your playthrough is the mysterious notes that have been left by a previous explorer. You'll pick one up every now and then throughout the first couple hundred rooms, telling a story very similar to your own, with an emphasis on the seemingly never-ending rooms and lack of food or water. At some point, these notes abruptly cut off before, in room 200, you find the remains of your fallen comrade and are left to carry on the journey alone. Well, okay, not alone. Meet the Specimens, your new companions for the rest of your time in the mansion. Specimens are the ghastly inhabitants of this house, and they serve as the main antagonists of the game. You'll encounter your first specimen in room 60, and from that point forward, they're a constant threat. Every floor of the house follows a set pattern, and at some point after stepping off the elevator, you'll encounter a room that is unlike any one you've seen previously. These are the specimen rooms, usually massive spaces with several sub-areas to explore. These are one of my favorite parts of the entire game. Each one of these areas are incredibly unique and are always quite the spectacle to encounter in comparison to the hundreds of repeating hallways that make up the rest of Spooky's challenge. As you explore your way through these chambers, you'll usually be given a bit of exposition relating to the specimen that inhabits it. Once you've completed a containment area, you'll encounter the monsters themselves, and the chase will begin. Each specimen has a unique set of abilities that makes their chase sequence stand out. Several specimens can float through walls, giving them a huge advantage in winding rooms. Some specimens induce optical illusions, making it harder to find your way around or locate the exit. There's a specimen that you have to keep your eyes on at all times, requiring you to walk backwards, and one that you have to walk slowly with in order to keep it at a certain range of you. They all have interesting designs and are genuinely quite threatening sometimes. After you finish the initial chase, the specimen will be added to a sort of reroll list, meaning that it can reappear at any time, assuming something else isn't already chasing you. The Mansion campaign in its totality can be beaten in around 2 hours depending on your pace, which is definitely a good thing when you start going for achievements. Before we talk about those though, I think we need to cover Endless Mode. Endless Mode, on the surface, is almost exactly what you would expect it to be. Released over a year and a half after the initial game was released, Endless Mode is a free piece of DLC which tasks you with simply moving through infinite mansion rooms to achieve a high score. In reality though, there's quite a bit more here to explore. Endless Mode adds a ton of new standard rooms to the roster, which does a surprising amount to change up the feel after the amount of time you spend in the mansion mode. More importantly though, Endless Mode adds a total of 10 new specimens to the initial 12, almost doubling the number you can encounter. Some of these are brand new and exclusive to the game mode, while others are borrowed from the Karamari Hospital DLC. Either way though, these new specimens and their accompanying encounter rooms are awesome, almost enough to transform the Endless Mode into a full second Mansion Mode campaign. I think it's time we talk about achievements though, because there are a lot of them. You'll need to do a minimum of 2 playthroughs of the Mansion Mode, a standard run, and a pacifism run to get the good ending. You'll also need to do a 3rd playthrough with jump scares and specimens turned off in the settings, 1,000 rooms of nothing. Every other achievement for this mode should be doable in one of these playthroughs. I personally had to spend a little bit of time with the password system to get the achievement for dying to every enemy, but I actually opted to bump my total up to 4 runs for one single achievement. Speedrun Strats is not a fun achievement. It asks of the player to complete Mansion Mode with specimens on without using any of the save points throughout the game. By this point, you should be able to do a run in about an hour 45, so completing the game in one sitting should be easy enough. The main problem comes from the fact that these save points are where you respawn when you die. Since you aren't allowed to use them at all, you have to complete the entire run without dying. This is not a particularly hard game, but it straight up is not designed to be run deathless. The perfect microcosm of this fact can most likely be seen in what I think was my 3rd attempt at this achievement. When you reach room 750, Spooky drops in to congratulate you on your progress. She then decides to bless you with the gift of infinite running stamina, which actually just means your sprint is disabled for the next 10 rooms or so. This is normally a pretty funny gag, and then you move on with the game as normal. Well, as it turns out, specimens can still spawn during this window, and there are certain combinations of specimens in rooms, like Specimen 11 and one of these winding rooms, that you physically cannot complete without sprinting. There is absolutely nothing I could have done to prevent this death, and it cost me over an hour of progress. There are also a number of achievements unlocked in Endless Mode. You'll of course have to reach room 1001, and you should be able to do that pretty easily. More importantly, you'll have to make sure and encounter every single enemy type that can be found in this game mode. There's essentially a 1 in 21 chance of finding any given enemy every 100 rooms, and honestly, finding them took a lot longer than I expected. Of course, my achievement bugged out and didn't display how many I had seen in real time until I found them all, so I used this helpful image from PSNProfiles.com. They have a really helpful achievement guide that walks you through the optimal playstyle for the entire game, and I can confirm that the Steam achievements and PlayStation trophies are exactly the same. It took me a whopping 37 hours to 100% complete Mansion Mode and Endless Mode, and we still haven't even unlocked that coveted Steam Ribbon or Platinum Trophy. Personally, I really enjoyed most of the process of 100%ing these modes, although I definitely feel like this process is much more suited to achievement hunters. Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion has a very real ability to surprise you with how much you enjoy it. I absolutely adored the original game, and the HD renovation absolutely did not disappoint. The atmosphere is excellent, the monsters and characters are very well designed, the exploration feels rewarding, and I probably haven't had such a fulfilling achievement hunting experience since Plants vs. Zombies. I've already looked through more than enough content to justify the $10 purchase, and we're only halfway through. Do you see why I had to split this into 2 videos? It's also worth noting that the original release of this game is still very much supported by the devs and is completely free, so if you don't care about the lack of achievements and own a PC, there's absolutely no reason not to check this game out. I guess all that's left to do now is stay tuned for part 2. Well, that was a mammoth of a video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're looking forward to part 2, you should probably go ahead and subscribe. It's absolutely free, and it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I would also really appreciate it if you could drop a like, as well as leaving a comment letting me know what you think. I love responding to commenters and seeing them pop up on my videos. Of course, the most helpful thing you can do in the interest of the channel is share it with anyone you think might enjoy it. I will love you forever. If you'd like to join my Discord or follow my socials, you can do so at the link in the video description down below. I'll also be linking that helpful PSN Profiles guide, as well as all the music used in this video. With that being said, I'll see you all for part 2, and as always, thanks for watching.